Good morning, Kuhner country. Okay, we talked about this story late last week. It has gotten even much bigger. It is now a national story. What is happening in Dedham here in Massachusetts at the St. Susanna Parish, and really with that blasphemous nativity scene. And so now, here is the absolute latest, and it truly is shocking. I mean, there's a certain point, I don't know what it takes for this rogue far-left priest to be removed from office. Seriously, to be defrocked and be taken out of that parish, because seriously, he is now in serious violation of decency, of the will of many parishioners, of Catholics, not just here in Massachusetts, but around the country, and now of the Archdiocese itself. So, according to the parish priest of St. Susanna, and he's the one that started all this, Father Stephen Jasoma, he is refusing, even now, to take down that infamous nativity scene sign, which says, ICE was here, in place of baby Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And I don't know if you've seen the picture of it or not, but you have this nativity scene in front of the church, and it's, in a manger, and, you've got the animals, you've got the camel, you've got the wise men, but where the baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph are supposed to be, there's no figurines. There's nothing. There's just this big giant sign, pinned right to the center of the manger that says, ICE was here. And then underneath it, it says the Holy Family can find sanctuary inside the church. And if anyone sees ICE, they can call this anti-ICE immigration and anti-ICE enforcement group, LUCE, and they even give you a number. So basically, if you see ICE, call this number to warn illegals that ICE is in the area. So aiding and abetting illegal aliens, aiding and abetting lawbreakers and criminals. That's now what this church's message clearly is. And it has sparked an absolute firestorm. A firestorm. Now, as you know, my position on this has been crystal clear from the beginning. What this priest is doing, he is politicizing Christmas. This is sacrilegious. This is blasphemous. He is now trying to claim that somehow Jesus and Mary and Joseph would be against Donald Trump and would be against the illegal immigration crackdown that Trump is now implementing. And by the way, 77 voters voted for, and he has a full Democratic mandate. So the implication, in fact, not even an implication, he says it in an interview. By the way, this guy is a ham. This priest, boy, he loves his face in front of a camera. And he won't come on this show. He doesn't have the guts to come on this show. But to the local left-wing liberal media, oh, ho, 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 you can't shut this guy up. So there he is saying, Jesus wouldn't approve of Donald Trump. Jesus wouldn't approve of ICE. This is outrageous. We have to speak out. The Gospels command it. And I'm watching this guy, and I'm saying, are you that ignorant? Jesus was never an illegal alien. Jesus was never a refugee. Everything what you're saying is a lie. What you are is you are using your pulpit, and it's not the first time, by the way. He has a history of doing this. For example, apparently in 2018, at the very same nativity scene, he put Jesus in a cage. In a cage. To protest, if you remember, the left's accusations that Trump was separating children from their parents at the border. which, by the way, that family separation policy was implemented under the dear leader. That was Obama's policy. But you see, Father Jasoma, that when it was under Obama, never complained. But under Trump, suddenly, you're violating Jesus. He's done it for climate change, where I'm not kidding. He's had the camel practically drowning. He's had the wise men, wading through waters up to their waist. Baby Jesus floating on water because the ice caps are going to melt, and the planet, we're destroying the planet through climate change. And so he's done for gun control. He's done this again and again and again. He is using his pulpit to advance his radical left-wing agenda. Now, my message to Father Jasoma, hey, buddy, you want to be a Democratic Party activist? No problem. Take off your collar and go, run for mayor of Dedham. Run for Congress. I don't know, run for city council. Because on your positions, you are no different than Maura Healey. You are no different than Elizabeth Warren. You are no different than Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. So you're not a priest, let's be honest. You're a Democrat activist masquerading as a priest. And let me just say something else. And I'm sorry, as a Catholic, I need to say this. Can somebody tell this guy, if he's going to go in front of the media and the cameras like he loves to do, could he at least keep his collar on? Out of basic self-respect for himself and for the church? I see this guy, interview after interview, he's got a shirt, open collar, and a sweater and a jacket. And I'm like, where's your priestly collar? I mean, you're a father, for God's sake. You're a priest, for God's sake. Like what, does this guy not wear a collar even in the church? I mean, I'm asking. He's an embarrassment. He is a rogue priest who is a far-left Marxist. There is no question about it. And he's using now something that is meant to be very sacrilegious, which is to try to make a political point about ICE, which has the right to detain and deport criminal, illegal aliens. Full stop. The last time I checked, Jesus did not glorify murderers and rapists and sex predators and thieves and burglars and lawbreakers. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Render unto God what is God's. Listen to this clown. Roll, cut, and by the way, I could give you cut after cut. This guy, he won't come on this show. But if you're a friendly media outlet and the local media is with him all the way. Now, this story, Fox News is covering it, CNN is covering it, BS Now is covering it, the New York Post, the New York Times, everybody now is covering this, okay? But if you're a friendly local media outlet, this guy will give you interview after interview. He won't come on this show because he's a coward. And there, no collar, no priestly collar. And this guy will yak and yak and yak and yak. This is Father Steve Jasoma. Roll cut 12, Mike.
This is a sense I would hope that all churches would take. I mean, we should be a welcoming community.
Right. So he wants all churches, all Catholic churches, all Christian churches, doesn't matter the denomination, Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox, the Orthodox Christian, it doesn't matter. He wants everybody because we have to be a welcoming community. Sure. Let the illegals in. Sure. The Archdiocese of Boston, okay, Bishop Richard Henning, has officially released a statement. And they are now telling this renegade rogue priest to take the nativity scene down. And as they put it, if you want, I can quote straight from the statement, but I'll just paraphrase. And by the way, the Archdiocese on this, 1,000% correct. That what Father Jasoma is doing is this is a politically divisive message. It is a violation of the church's norms, of the very canon of the church. You are not supposed to take sacred objects like the nativity scene and use them for political purposes. You go to a church to pray and to worship. You don't go to church to hold a political rally or try to make some political statement. 6:20 now on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer. This issue now has become a lightning rod for many on the left and the right. It's become a national story. Forget just a big local story. And the parish priest, Father Stephen Jasoma, Josoma, he is the priest of St. Susanna's Parish in Dedham, is now utterly defiant. He refuses to take down the nativity scene, in which this is sacrilegious. There's no question. It's blasphemous. There's no question. He is clearly politicizing Christmas. No question. In which the nativity scene, you have obviously the wise men, you have the camel, the animals, but instead of baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph in the manger, they're gone. Their figurines are not there. Instead, they've been replaced with a giant sign that says ICE was here, meaning that if we went back 2,000 years, ICE would have detained and deported Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, the Holy Family. The Archdiocese, I want to read to you exactly what they said, has now ordered this renegade rogue priest to take down the sign. In fact, stating very clearly that he never, ever got permission to do this. He never requested permission, and now they're telling him openly, take it down. That the display goes against church norms around sacred objects. Quote, this is straight from the Archdiocese. The people of God have the right to expect that when they come to church, I'm sorry to have to say it like this, but stating the obvious, they will encounter genuine opportunities for prayer and Catholic worship, not divisive political messaging. The display should be removed and the manger restored to its proper sacred purpose. Completely right. Completely right. Look, when I go to church on Sunday, I don't want to attend a DNC meeting. I don't want to attend the equivalent of BS Now or a CNN segment on illegal immigration. This may come as a shock to, and I'm putting this in air quotes, Father Jasoma. But, I don't worship Karl Marx on the cross. I don't worship Barack Obama on the cross. I don't worship Joe Biden on the cross. Jesus was not a globalist. Jesus was not a Marxist. Jesus was not a socialist. Jesus was not a left-wing social justice warrior. I'm sorry, that's blasphemous. You're completely perverting the story of Jesus and the meaning of Jesus. Like, how is this guy still a priest? I celebrate Jesus on the cross. I'm there to pray. I'm there to worship. Frankly, I'm there to think about my own sins and my own soul and that of my wife and my children. – That's what I'm there for. I'm not there to get a political lecture on how we need more illegals pouring into our country and how we have to violate the law and how we should defy federal immigration law. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be a criminal. And I don't want to support criminals. And I mean, how dare you do that? So he's abusing his position as a priest. And by the way, as I said in my opening monologue, this is not the first time. Whether it's gun control, whether it's climate change, whether, and by the way, climate change now is, I mean, the whole narrative is being destroyed. We have been lied to on this. There's new scientific evidence. It's all been a pack of lies, okay? But let that go. Just let it go. The last couple of years ago, is it 5, 6, whatever, 7 years ago, he put Jesus in a cage in the nativity scene. This guy's not a priest. You can see it. It's obvious. Now, buddy, you want to be a Democrat politician, run for office. And by the way, as I said before, I'm sorry, this really sticks in my craw. If you're going to still remain a priest, put the collar on, huh? It won't kill you to put the collar on. This is from acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. And he has condemned this nativity scene as well, this blasphemous nativity scene. Quote, on behalf of ICE and our many law enforcement professionals in Massachusetts, many of whom are practicing Catholics and first-generation Americans, I applaud the Catholic Church and the Archdiocese of Boston for taking a stand against such a dangerous and extremist narrative. And you better believe it's dangerous and extremist. Attacks on ICE agents are up nearly 1,200%. ICE agents are being shot, they're being attacked, they're being threatened, they're being menaced, and it's precisely because of lies like this. Seriously, does the left have to politicize and ruin Christmas now? Like, seriously, like, is this what it's come down to? And I think that's why you're seeing such a pushback. Why this story is popping like crazy, and why it's become such a controversial issue that the whole country now is talking about it. By the way, other churches are doing this in other states. I mean, so this has become a lightning rod, but this is nothing new. This is happening, by the way, not just in some Catholic churches, in Protestant churches, even some Orthodox Christian churches. So I think a lot of people are saying, no, we're not going to give you the right to take away our Christmas and politicize it for your left-wing globalist ends. Enough is enough. You've politicized already too much of our lives and too much of our culture. 6:32 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer. Okay, just people are texting me, emailing me. Jeff, where can I find some of the best coverage on this, where the reporting is really fair, accurate, and balanced, and really gives you the full, true story? Go to Boston Broadside. They've had a couple stories up the last 24, 48 hours. BostonBroadside.com. Phenomenal coverage. Phenomenal coverage. And the Archdiocese is now saying they've ordered him to take it down. They've told him, take it down. He is refusing to take it down. Now, now he's defying Bishop Richard Henning. He's literally now defying the Archdiocese itself. I think they got to give him an ultimatum. I mean, far be it from me to tell the Archdiocese how to do its job. But you clearly now have a dissident priest, a rogue priest, a renegade priest, clearly a far left priest, who thinks now that he's above he's above the Bible, he's above the church, he's above canonical law, He's above the theology of the church. I'm sorry, this is blasphemy. This is heresy. It is sacrilegious. It is blasphemous. And now I'm telling you, he's flirting with heresy. Let's just put it this way. And so I think my position is clear. The archdiocese needs to either meet with him or pick up the phone and say, listen, I'm giving you 1 hour. Either this nativity scene comes down, or I'm telling you, you're going to be defrocked. You're going to be removed from your position as the priest of this parish, and I'm telling you, you're going to lose your collar. You will no longer be a priest, and maybe follow your true calling, which is work for some far left-wing George Soros-funded NGO, or run for the Democratic Party, run for some local office. Because you're clearly you're not a man of the cloth. This is open rebellion. That's what this is. Open defiance. And I think the parishioners of St. Susanna deserve better. I think the Catholic Church deserves better. I think Christians everywhere deserve better. Enough is enough. Now, I want to go to the phone lines, 617-266-6868, just very quickly. This is C.J. Doyle. He is the executive director of the Catholic Action League of Massachusetts. He was on Boston 25 regarding this whole nativity scene scandal and talking about the Father Stephen Jasoma. Listen to what he had to say. Roll cut 12B, Mike.
He's politicizing Christmas. He's exploiting the Holy Family. He's using his position as the pastor of a Catholic parish to promote his left-wing political ideology.
Yes. Yes. And again, it's not a one-off. You say, I don't know what got into the guy this time. Whatever. He's been doing this now consistently for at least 10 years. On issue after issue after issue. He's a left-wing Marxist political activist masquerading as a priest. Listen now to, again, C.J. Doyle. I thought he hit the nail right on the head. Executive Director, Catholic Action League of Massachusetts, pretty much saying what I'm saying. Get a new job. Seriously, find something. This is not for you. Being a priest is clearly not for you. So find some new employment. Roll cut 12C, Mike.
Is this not obstruction of justice they're really pushing here? If he doesn't really believe in the Catholic religion or thinks the Catholic Church is simply a vehicle for political activism, perhaps he should find new employment.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's, honestly, I hope that's what Bishop Henning tells him. I think they're meeting today. I hope they're meeting today. They were supposed to meet over the weekend. They did not meet over the weekend. They were supposed to meet yesterday. They did not meet yesterday. I think, to be honest, the Archdiocese is shocked. The Archdiocese is like, look, we gave you a direct order. We put it out in an official press release and a statement. Take the blasphemous nativity scene down. It's sacrilegious. Take it down and restore baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph to the manger. We can't be clearer on this. This is canonical norms, canonical law. You're in violation. This is fundamental church teaching. Did this guy even go to a seminary? I gotta ask. Seriously. 617-266-6868. Okay, let me ask all of you. What do you think now needs to be done with this continued open defiance? That's number one. Number two, you have many people in Dedham, but I'm not kidding. There's a lot of moonbats in Dedham. Holy mackerel, are there a lot of moonbats in Dedham? They are rallying to Father Jasoma. And they're saying they love it. This is exactly the message that the church should be promoting. They want more churches to be promoting this message. As one of them said in one of these local media interviews, the church should be a mirror on society. And our country is involved in a big debate on whether we should be deporting illegal aliens and whether we should be securing the border. And so the church should be reflective of this debate, and the church should be taking the side of illegals. That Jesus was an illegal, Jesus would side with the illegals, as they all keep saying, what would Jesus do? And according to them, Jesus would side with the illegal aliens and with sanctuary cities and with sanctuary states. In other words, to put it in Massachusetts, in the Massachusetts context, Jesus would stand with Michelle Wu, according to them. Jesus would stand with Maura Healey. Jesus would stand with the chief, Elizabeth Warren, according to them. And so they're congratulating this priest, they are defending this priest, and they are rallying around this priest. So, let me ask you, what do you make of this nativity scene? And is this priest right or wrong? 617-266-6868. Okay, let's go to Tom in Hudson. You're going to kick us off, Tom. Thanks for holding and welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff, this irritates me on three different points. First, the sign that he put up saying this is the ICE number. That's aiding and abetting criminals and helping people warn other people about where our government agents are. They should put up a sign that says ICE is welcome here. This way here, because the church's policy is everybody's welcome. The sign that says, let's go back one, about the politicizing of the church, they should teach the Ten Commandments. Our aid going to these illegal immigrants is stealing from our children. In the Bible, it says, God says you should give to the poor. He didn't say steal the money to give to the poor. He says give from your own. We're in debt up to $38 trillion federal. The state is $328,000 in debt. I mean, it's just unbelievable the amount of money we're paying for these people. This thing called Catholic Charities, I believe in supporting other poor people, but I can't do it with our children's money. I have to do it with my money. And as far as the sign that says with the police number, I believe that the police in the town should take that sign down because
I agree. I agree. No, Tom, look, to me, that's almost as bad as the ICE was here, the other smaller sign underneath, because there's a group, LUCE, 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, to everybody out there, if you could help the Kuhner man out a little bit, and I don't mean me personally, in terms of the good of the cause. Kuhner man, maybe about 5 minutes ago, put out, what do you want to call it, X, a tweet, whatever, on my X account, at the Kuhner Report. Again, please go to at the Kuhner Report, Kuhn as in national ER, where I am calling upon the Archdiocese to order this ridiculous rogue far-left priest to take down that nativity scene sign. That's sacrilegious, blasphemous, frankly disgusting, insulting nativity scene sign down. If you could like it, forward it, just send it around, because the more this message gets out there, the more pressure will build on the Archdiocese to finally do the right thing. And frankly, I want to shame this priest. He's never had backlash like this before, ever. He gets away with it all the time because there's always been no cultural opposition to the far left in this state and frankly to much of the left across the country. And we have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And to me, it's Christmas. I mean, seriously, if we're not going to defend the dignity and integrity and purity of Christmas, And by the way, this is not a religious issue. It really shouldn't be. If you're listening and saying, Jeff, I'm not really a church goer, or, I'm not really a believer, that's fine. God bless you. It's a free country. Seriously, God bless you. But come on. We all celebrate Christmas. We all get December 25 off. We all participate in the spirit of Christmas, the season of Christmas, and I don't just mean the trees and Santa and and his elves and the reindeer and the gift giving. But look, a baby was born. Christians believe the Son of God, peace and goodwill to everyone on earth. It's beautiful. It's at the heart of America, who we are. It's at the heart of Western civilization, who we are, whether you're religious or not. Don't allow the left to politicize this. That's what they're trying to do now. Don't let them ruin Christmas. Let them know that if they do this, they're going to pay a tremendous price. And maybe they'll stop. Because, you see, they're so drunk with power and hubris that they think they can go around and destroy every institution and every tradition. And there has to be a line where we say no. To me, this is clearly the line. You're not going to ruin Christmas. You're not going to ruin Christianity. You're not going to ruin baby Jesus. That's it. No, the answer is no. 617-266-6868 is the number. Agree, disagree. All right, lines are loaded. Dave, our Western PA constitutionalist correspondent out in the Pittsburgh area. Thanks for holding, Dave, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff. How you doing, buddy?
Very good. How are you, Dave?
Good. Good, Jeff. If somebody ever tells me there's global warming and it's 14 degrees again, I'm going to whitewash them in the snow. But, hey, Jeff, real quick before we get to today's subject, I just want to comment on yesterday's. I sent you a link to the NPR, which is the Minnesota Public Radio station connected to NPR. Okay, I don't know if you've seen it on Messenger. I sent you a link to it. Nowhere on that page was there a story that showed the corruption to the SNAP and the Somalis. It just said the usual BS. Well, Trump is xenophobic and racist and all that, la-da-da. And if they're not covering it, Jeff, you know that the national media is not covering it. But anyways, getting to this crazy priest, Jeff, I think this guy needs to be sent to, like, a science project and see if he's got a brain, because this guy needs a full-blown lobotomy, buddy. I mean, this guy's so far to the left, he makes Obama look like a Tea Party member.
It's funny you should say that, but, it's funny. The way you deliver it is very funny. But, I don't even think Obama would do this. No, really. I think Obama, not that he doesn't want to, right? Not because it's all clear now. When he talked about the fundamental transformation of America, he meant to Islamize America and de-Christianize America and, frankly, de-Americanize America. I think there's no question now. But how do I say this? To be this brazen, to be this insulting, to be this in your face, this blasphemous about it, I think Obama would say, no, hey, guys, whoa, you're going too far. Easy. And no, look, they become brazen. Dave, that's what this is now. They think they can do anything they want because they never meet any opposition. And anyway, we're going to see what's going to happen. Dave, I've got to ask you this in all seriousness. And I know you're not a Catholic, I know that, and I say this respectfully, but just for argument's sake, if you were a member of that parish and that nativity scene was displayed by, the parish priest, what would you do? What do you think the members of St. Susanna should do? Would you just leave? Would you say something to the priest? Would you complain? Would you withhold money when they pass the collection plate? Maybe as one person suggested, I think in an email last week or a text, I can't remember. But it was, you know what? Instead of an envelope with cash, you put an envelope with a note. And the note says, until this nativity scene comes down, you're not getting a dime. Or would you even hold a rally outside the church? Because he's starting to hold rallies with his supporters outside the manger. So he's holding rallies in defense of himself in front of the church. And again, by the way, no caller. Okay, but let that go. Dave, what would you do?
You, Jeff, first of all, I would remove the sign myself, and I would hold a counter rally at the manger, and I would call Rome, never mind the Archdiocese. And Jeff, I'm a former Catholic. I'll tell you a quick little story. I brought a King James Bible into the church, and they treated me like I was in the devil's advocate. I set the water on fire or something, or the water was steaming. But no, Jeff, it's just, nothing against you being a Catholic. I don't want to be disrespectful to you. It's just some of the doctrine and the teachings doesn't gel with the Bible, Jeff. And again, I'm not knocking your faith. I'm just being honest. And I ended up getting excommunicated because I brought a King James Bible into the church. I kind of left on my own, but just as a sidebar, Jeff, I respect that you're a practicing Catholic, and I love that you respect your faith, because we are a freedom of faith country.
Bingo.
You know what I mean, Jeff? I don't knock
Bingo.
your faith. I love you and I respect you for it, buddy.
Same here, Dave, all the way. To me, that's the beauty of America. We were founded upon religious liberty. To me, that's one of the greatest gifts given to us by our founding fathers and the people who first came here. And that's why it's been a beacon for people of so many faiths to come here and to be able to practice their faith openly, freely, voluntarily, without any persecution or harassment. And now the church is being persecuted. Christianity is being persecuted by some people now, even within the church. That, to me, is what's turning my stomach. Dave, thank you very much, as always, for that call, my friend. 616, he's completely right. 6-1, this is not a Catholic issue. There are Baptists now that are doing this. You've got left-wing evangelicals that are doing it. You've got Lutherans, very left-wing Lutherans who are doing it. You even have now some Orthodox Christian churches that are doing it. So it's spreading, and we've got to nip this in the bud. So what? Basically, we're just gonna just destroy Christmas? Is that what it's going to be now? So we're gonna turn Christmas into a political food fight? No, I'm sorry. This is not acceptable. 617. And by the way, I can't have 1 hour a week where I don't have politics shoved down my throat. 1 hour a week? Again, if you're a Christian, right, this is what you believe, that you're obligated by God to give him 1 hour a week of your time. To thank him, to worship him. I'm just, to think about your soul, what you've done right, what you've done wrong, to pray. I can't have 1 hour? No. So 6 days and 23 hours of politics, that's not enough. It's got to be, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I'm sorry. No. The answer is no. 617-266-6868 is the number. Annie on the South Shore. Thanks for holding, Annie, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hi.
And good morning, Kuhner country. Jeff, without the birth of Christ, there would be no Christmas. That's first and foremost. The second is I have made a phone call over there to that parish. And like a lot of other parishes or rectories is what you used to call them, nobody answers the phone anymore, so you have to leave a message. I did do that. I did leave a message. Now, my background, very quickly, Jeff, was I grew up in a very strict Catholic church. When I say strict, if I came down and said to my father, gee, Dad, I don't feel well, he'd say, that's okay. You get dressed, you go to church, and you come back and you can continue being sick. So I grew up in a very strict Catholic household, parochial school, the whole bit. Actually, I was going to be a nun, and the Lord chose a different path for me, and I'm walking that path. I have taken a good look at what is going on in the world. Christianity is a belief in the Lord thy God. Christmas is celebrated around the world. People right now that are in positions like the spawn of the devil, and that is what I will call him, he is doing the work of evil, the work of the devil. And those that choose to follow him will end up, what's the word you want to say? I don't want to say in the bowels of whatever, because, there'll be children listening to the radio station. But I have had it. I have had it up over my head with this politics, the government, people doing unbelievable things, crimes, getting away with it. Nobody is being held accountable for anything. This priest is not a priest. That's first and foremost. If the Catholic Church wanted this to stop, it would stop in an hour. They would remove him from that church. In the town that I live in, the town next door had a priest that was abusing some boys. They removed that priest quicker than you could blink an eye. And the Vatican is very much aware as to what is going on, Jeff. So if they really wanted it to stop, it would stop. I am so fed up with everything. But I have to say this, Jeff. My religion is stronger than a statue. My religion is stronger than a building. They cannot take that from me. And all of us that are out there that are Catholic or Christians or whatever it is, remember, we celebrate the birth of the Lord. So any nativity scene that you see or signs that you see, you're going to look at it and you're going to realize that people that are in positions are evil. And the Lord did say, beware of people that try to do good things, because in the background it's not good, just like this priest. This is not a priest, Jeff.
Oh, I agree. No, what he's doing is satanic. It truly is. It's evil. What he's doing is evil. And Annie, look, I really want to congratulate you on your convictions and your courage in stating your convictions, because many people think like you, but they're afraid to express it. No, look, first of all, let me just be very clear. In many parts of the world, and I'm not, please don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating for vigilantism or violence of any kind. Please, I believe in nonviolence to my core, okay? Again, honestly, in the spirit of Jesus. As a Catholic, I do not believe in violence. As a Christian, I abhor it. But I'm just telling you, in many places of the world, I don't care. Let him try this in Poland. I'm just saying, let him try this in Eastern Europe. Let him try this in Latin America. Let him try this in Africa, where, by the way, the Catholic Church is growing by leaps and bounds. What I'm saying is, let him try this in more, and I'm putting this in quotes, traditional parts of the world. That nativity scene, that thing would be down in 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, they'd probably light it on fire. I'm not telling you, they'd grab the sign and just torch it right there. Torch it. And tell the priest, I want the baby Jesus, the Mary, and the Joseph figurines. You put him in the manger now. Like, what are you, drunk? That's what they would say. What are you, drunk? What are you, stoned? What are you, on drugs? There'd be no question. Okay, that's number one. It wouldn't even get to the bishop level. Okay, I'm just telling you the truth. That's number one. Number two, and I'm not advocating that. I want to be clear. But I'm just saying, look, the Archdiocese is going to take care of it. I think by the end of today, tomorrow, the sign is coming down. Fingers crossed. Because they're getting so much pressure now from people like you, from us, from Kuhner country. But this is the larger point. I would respect this Father Jasoma more if he just completely came out of the closet. In every way, if he came out of the closet. And put a rainbow flag right there in the manger. Or put the hammer and sickle, the communist hammer and sickle, the communist red star with the Soviet hammer and sickle, and put it right there in the manger. Or as I said, the rainbow flag. And say, this is what I worship. This is what I bow down to. I say at least you're an honest man. You're a blasphemous man. You're a sacrilegious man. To me, you're a profoundly evil man. But at least you're an honest man. But don't hide your far leftism, your Marxism, your globalism, your anti-Americanism, your anti-Trumpism. The guy's an anti-Trump zealot. He's crazy. He's crazy. He won't stop going after Donald Trump, both from the pulpit and in the literature that he gives out at St. Susanna's. He can't stop himself. So, you know what? Don't hide it behind Jesus. Don't stand there and hide it behind your cloth, behind your priestly garb, and behind behind the baby Jesus manger. Don't do that, because you're a coward. Now, and the other final point, I have to say this. Do you notice that these leftists, they never do this to the Muslims? I know I've made this point many times before, but think about how true that is. When have they ever once taken something that is sacred to Islam, I don't care what it is, and then tried to distort it, twist it, to make some kind of a stupid left-wing globalist Marxist point? I don't care. Gun control, climate change, open borders, opposition to ICE, defense of illegal aliens. Do you think they would ever go on and say Mohammed was an illegal? Or Mohammed would support climate change? Do you think they would ever speak on behalf of Mohammed? Have you noticed that? The left never, ever say, Mohammed would be against gun control. No, Mohammed would be against man-made climate change. Mohammed would be against illegal immigration, or would be in favor, forgive me, Mohammed would be in favor of illegal immigration. The Muslims would say, don't you dare even utter his name. Don't you even ever mention his name in the context of some trendy left-wing cause. A fatwa on your head, you're dead. And they know that. And they don't do it to Hindus, and they don't do it to Buddhists, and I'm sorry, they don't do it to... There's a lot of anti-Semitism out there, yes, but they don't do it to the Jewish faith. There's only one faith, and that's the Christian faith, that they repeatedly mock and revile and make fun of and ridicule. So the question is, where's our self-respect? When are we going to say enough is enough? When are we going to say, no, I'm sorry, you're not doing that? No, we're not violent people. Quite the opposite. But we're going to ring your phone off the hook. We're going to email you. We're going to put a pressure campaign on the Archdiocese. And you're going to realize that you're going to pay a tremendous price in terms of your credibility. We're going to call you out, and we're going to do something we haven't done in a long time. We're going to shame you. We're going to shame you. There's going to be a moral public price to pay now. Leave leave the nativity scene alone. Leave Christmas alone. Enough. You're not going to get it. You're not going to ruin it. You're not going to politicize it. Okay, Kuhner country, I'm asking for a little bit of help. I think we can win this one. I think we're pressing hard. We've got this priest on the run, on the ropes. I have put up a tweet, X, I don't know what you call it nowadays, but anyway, on my X account, at the Kuhner Report, that's my handle, at the Kuhner Report, Kuhn as in national ER. I have put out a tweet demanding that the Archdiocese now crack down on this rogue, renegade, Marxist priest. Please, if you can like it, repost it, send it off to your friends, colleagues, get this as widely circulated as possible so the Archdiocese fully understands we're just not going to take it anymore. Enough is enough. You're not going to ruin our Christmas. You're not going to politicize our Christmas. Hands off. This is our red line. Don't cross it. 617-266-6868. Agree, disagree. Dave in Quincy. Thanks for holding, Dave, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff. It's a beautiful sunny day today.
It is, although it's cold, Dave. We could use a little bit of that global warming, my friend.
I don't know, Jeff. I looked this morning. It said it was a nice 12 degrees this morning. So, the penguins like it. The penguins like it, Jeff.
Dave, what do you make of all this?
Jeff, be honest with you. If I lived in, where was that? Dedham, you said? Where that church
in
is
Dedham.
at?
St. Susanna Parish in Dedham.
Jeff, I could guarantee you this morning, if I lived in Dedham, I'd be arrested because I'd be caught taking that damn sign down. I would have just walked by and took it right off. But it was nailed on. You just take a claw hammer and take the nails out, and the sign, rip it up and right in front of his face. Jeff, and as you said earlier, it's sacrilegious, Jeff. Everybody knows the true meaning of the nativity scene. And it's like, as Dave was saying earlier, he took a King James Bible into a Catholic church and they look at him crazy. Jeff, what the Catholic Church does not understand, there wouldn't be any Catholic Church if it wasn't for the King James Bible, because the King James tells the entire scriptures of the beginning of the world, Jeff. And the Catholic Church system, the Archdiocese, they don't want the Catholics reading the Bible, Jeff, because they don't want people to know the truth of what the scriptures really recommend and what the scriptures really say about life itself, Jeff. And everybody knows, Jeff, you and I both know, your wife knows, and I know your wife loves God. Jeff, we know that the scriptures came from God in the Holy Bible, and that's why the Catholic Church does not want the Catholics reading the Bible, Jeff. Because
Dave, I don't want to. I mean, look, I hear where you're coming from, and you've been a long-time caller, and you know how much respect I have for you. Dave, I don't want to get into a theological discussion or debate. I really respect where you're coming from. I don't want you to think I'm marginalizing or trivializing or, I'm just, what you're saying, because I'm not. I don't want to get into the weeds of theology and who's right and who's wrong. This is now what it's gotten to, my friend. They're now going after the nativity. They're now going after baby Jesus. We can't even have, this is so basic. This is so, I don't know how to say this, almost, I don't want to say superficial, because obviously this is to me so profound, the birth of Jesus. But what I mean is we're talking now about a simple display. We're talking now about the most basic thing about Christmas. Now they're not even allowing us, or now they're going after, to be more accurate. They're going after. I mean, this is like going after a fork and a knife. That's why I'm saying all Christians, or even non-Christians, I don't care. We all have to come together on this. I understand there's theological differences. That's okay. America is a free country. That's what I love about this country. But now we can't even display the baby Jesus with Mary and Joseph? No, we can't do that now. That has to be politicized. It's just, I'm sorry. I'm shocked. And the ease now, how it's happening more and more. And it's not, again, I really want to state this. It's not just Catholics. You're seeing it in some Protestant churches, Orthodox Christian churches, and that the left thinks they can just do this and get away with it. And so we have to decide, are we going to allow Christmas to be ruined? Are we going to allow them to take Christmas away from us? Because I don't want to live in a country like this. I don't. And this is much worse than not saying Merry Christmas. I mean, I'm happy people are saying Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays. But this is much worse than that. This is, this is the central meaning of Christmas. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, just very, very quickly, there's a couple of messages I got on Messenger, and I just want to share them with all of you and then go right back to the phone lines. The nativity scene sign, that blasphemous sign, is still up. This rogue far-left priest, Father Stephen Jossima, continues to defy the Archdiocese of Boston. Bishop Richard Henning has explicitly told him through an official press release, public statement, take the sign down. In fact, he said it's sacrilegious. Take it down. And this priest still refuses to take it down. So what should the Archdiocese do next? 617-266-6868. This is from Brian. Jeff. This has nothing to do with theology. This is about ideology. This priest has every right, outside church property, to say and do what his conscience dictates. But once he's on church property, it isn't his ideology. It's Catholic theology. Brilliant. Absolutely. Brian, as I like to say, you absolutely nailed it. You nailed it. And that's the thing. He thinks he's the Pope. I mean, really, he's arrogating to himself powers that he doesn't have. So, I mean, I'm sorry, who died and made you the head of the Catholic Church? That you can just, overrule the Archdiocese, overrule church teaching, overrule canonical law? By the way, even the Pope can't do that, just so that you know. So, let me rephrase that. Who died and made you God? That's what I'd like to ask this priest, if he had the guts to come on this show. Okay, this is from Larry on Messenger, and this is a doozy. Please, you got to listen to this, because it is so true. Good morning, Jeff. Well, good morning, Larry. The irony is in what you're saying. The left paints Christians as violent and evil because they know we are peaceful at heart. But they're scared to offend Muslims who have a history of violence against anyone who mocks them or their faith. Hell, just showing images like that magazine Charlie Hebdo in France got people murdered. Bingo. Bingo. That's why I said earlier, have you noticed? They never do anything like this against Islam. Ever. 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 Because they're a bunch of cowards. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, let me ask you. It is the Kuhner Country poll question of the day, sponsored by Mario's. Mario's quality roofing, siding, and windows. And by the way, we're getting a lot of great reaction on my X, on the tweet that I sent out. And so I just want to thank all of you for your support. We're getting it out there, and hopefully we're going to convince the Archdiocese to do the right thing and force him to take it down. Okay, here it's the Kuhner Country poll question of the day, again, sponsored by Mario's. Mario's quality roofing, siding, and windows. The Archdiocese of Boston has told Reverend Stephen Jossima of St. Susanna Parish in Dedham to take down a nativity display saying the baby Jesus is hiding from ICE. If the priest defies the church, should he be removed? If he continues to defy the church, should Father Jossima be removed? A, yes. B, no. You know where I stand. I am a yes all the way on this. But I don't vote. You do. So I want to hear from you. You can vote on our webpage, wrko.com/Kuhner, wrko.com/Kuhner, Kuhn as in national ER. And as you know, I'm active on X. You can vote via X, my handle there, all one word, at the Kuhner Report, at the Kuhner Report, Kuhner. Scott in Winthrop. Thanks for holding, Scott, and welcome.
Merry Christmas, Jeff. How are you this morning?
Merry Christmas. All the best to you and your family, Scott.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I want to share. My father used to say, you can't punish ignorance, you can only educate it. So I agree with you. You gotta take the sign down, put Mary and Joseph back in, but you've been saying put baby Jesus back in. But you shouldn't be putting baby Jesus back in until when?
You mean until Christmas?
That's right. That's right. So you can't put baby Jesus back in the manger quite yet until Christmas.
No, but Scott, I mean, you know my larger philosophical point.
No, I understand, but I want, because Nativity's been an educational tool ever since we were little kids. It taught.
Well, no, you're right. I mean, there is no baby Jesus until Christmas. Right? Midnight Christmas, there's baby Jesus. Scott, and you're completely right. Scott, what do you think should happen to this priest? What do you think will happen to this priest?
He, like the other text said, do your stuff outside the church. You can do whatever you want. But this tool that has taught us over the years that one of the most powerful people that have ever come across the world was born into this very poor situation and a dire situation. The story is tremendous, that you can be whatever you want to be and be the best, coming from with having nothing. So, but the point you were saying about the cages, my father, before he passed away, donated a nativity scene to our local church. And 1 year I go and I see the cage all wrapped up around the nativity. I go, what's going on with this? There's like chicken wire all over it. And the biggest crime about the nativity scene that goes on is they steal baby Jesus after Christmas. So I wanted to give a little thing for the churches, anyone who's listening. You know how there's a tile, if you lose your keys, it's a tracker? To be able to, you can put them on anything. You can put them on a laptop, a backpack, or whatever, but in every baby Jesus nativity scene, baby Jesus should have a tracker so they can find. It used to kill me that people would steal baby Jesus after. You hear about it all the time in the news. Every year I've always heard it more recently.
I think it's a great idea. No, honestly, I think it's a great idea. Put a tracker on that baby Jesus. Who does that? Oh, really, Scott? Steal a baby Jesus. Like, you just... Honestly, you look at people like, have you no fear of God? Like, have you no sense of basic decency? It's just, anyway. But Scott, you're absolutely dead on. Scott, thank you very much for that call. That's what we do, by the way, in our house. We have a beautiful nativity scene. It's a miniature one, obviously. A small nativity scene underneath the Christmas tree. And the manger is empty until Christmas Day. We've got everybody. We've got the three wise men. We've got the camel. We've got the animals. We've got Mary and Joseph. But there's no baby Jesus until Christmas, until New Year's Eve midnight. The kids usually stay up late, and we put the baby Jesus in the manger. Baby Jesus is now born, and then the kids start ripping up the Christmas gifts. Then they're, you can't control them. 617-266-6868. Mags in New Hampshire. Thanks for holding, Mags, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff, and God bless you as he always does and keeps doing.
Thank you.
Forever. Okay, Jeff? I mean, let me tell you, my name is really Mary Margaret. That's my first name, Jeff. I was named after the Blessed Mother. My mother was so religious and so Catholic that we were in church every other day.
every night we said we blessed our food. How many people do you think do that now, Jeff?
Oh, very few.
So I believe in God very strongly. I think that you know that. And I was raised believing in God, and I will always believe in God. However, I believe that Rome is wicked, and I believe they're all evil.
617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, I want to go right back to Mags in New Hampshire. Just very quick reset for those of you just tuning in. It is a massive story. It's not just local. It has gone national. The national media now is all over this. A Catholic parish in Dedham, Massachusetts, and we have a lot of listeners around the country, that essentially it's a suburb of Boston. And there is a father there, a priest, Father Stephen Jasoma, who is a left-wing priest, in fact, a very left-wing priest, who has been using his pulpit now for a long time, whether it's climate change, immigration, his support for illegals, gun control, you name it, to constantly politicize the nativity scene. This time, however, he has gone too far. And so right after Thanksgiving, at the nativity scene in front of St. Susanna's Parish, instead of having the baby Jesus and the Virgin, the Mary and Joseph, the Blessed Mary and Joseph, at the, baby Jesus in the manger, Mary and Joseph around him, they took out Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, the figurines, and replaced it with "Ice was here" sign. A giant "Ice was here" sign. And then underneath, it instructs people within the community that if they see ICE, to call an anti-ICE group. This is a group that monitors ICE agents. And if they're in the community, they will alert illegal aliens so they can evade detention and capture by ICE. And they even give the number to call. And when asked, I mean, the implication is clear, but he actually even said it, Jesus was an illegal alien. Mary and Joseph, according to him, were illegals. They were refugees. And that ICE would be arresting Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. If you had ICE 2,000 years ago, this is why what Trump is doing is so immoral and so evil, according to Father Josema. Now, as I pointed out on Friday, this is historically completely garbage. It is inaccurate. Jesus was never an illegal. He and the Holy Family were never refugees. This is all a complete lie peddled by the left. But even more importantly, it's blasphemous. It's blasphemous. Because you're trying to politicize the birth of Christ to push your sick, open borders, pro-illegal alien, sanctuary city agenda. This is not a priest. This is a left-wing Democratic activist masquerading as a priest. And his collar should be removed permanently, and he should be defrocked. As far as I'm concerned, he should be removed, period, full stop. But that's me. I want to hear from you. 617-266-6868. But this is the clear attempt now to politicize Christmas. And frankly, we've had enough. And there is now a massive national backlash to the point that the Archdiocese of Boston has now told this renegade rogue priest to take his sign down and restore the manger to its proper, respectful role. And he still is defying the Archdiocese. He still refuses to take the sign down. So what should be done? What can be done? Okay, let's go back to Mags in New Hampshire. Mags, you were saying you were raised in a very devout family. You obviously still believe in God. However, your views have changed. You think a lot of the people who are in the clergy are evil, and you say this goes back to Rome and the Vatican. Please pick up where you left off.
I think I would like to give Annie accolades for everything she said, because basically that's what I feel also. And I also feel that, and you know that I also feel that about the leaders of our country, except for Trump. Okay, I think a lot of the leaders in our country are just as evil because they have their own agenda, just like this priest. And this priest has a job, which is not his own agenda. His job is to preach about God, not about everything that he feels is important. He is a member of the Catholic diocese. He's for God, nothing else. No more, no less. That's what he's about. That's what he's supposed to be about. However, I do think he should be let go. And but if it's parish people, if it's parishioners like him, then I find that really horrifying, honestly. If they think this is okay, I find that horrifying. I wanted to say one more thing, Jeff. Once again, the media and everyone else has taken our eye off the ball of what's happening in our country. Again, this is what they do. They make up something, they do something, they bring it up so we take our eye off of everything else that's happening in our country. We must keep our eye on the ball. They did this, if you remember correctly, Biden, the boob, also did this on Easter a few years ago. We need to keep our eye on the ball and what's happening in our country, and we need to keep Trump on the move, and we need to start some military tribunals. It's time. God bless America. Merry Christmas to everyone, but we need to keep our eye on the ball, America. Amen. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Mags. I really appreciate your call. No, look, this is why the acting director of ICE, Todd Lyons, officially released a statement. And he says, look, I want to thank the Archdiocese for telling this clown of a priest to take the sign down. And he says, and by the way, he says, listen, you have to know this. Many ICE agents are practicing devout Catholics. Many of them are first-generation Americans. In other words, they're the children of immigrants, legal immigrants. Don't tell me we're anti-immigrant. We're not. You're lying. But the point is, it's a dangerous extremist narrative that this priest is pushing. It's going to get my agents killed. And he's right. Because you see, the narrative is this, that ICE is the new Roman Empire. That's what they're saying. And that ICE is a diabolical organization. It would kidnap baby Jesus. If it had its way. It's so evil. It's so satanic. This is what the priest is saying. It would kidnap the Blessed Mother. It would kidnap Joseph, Mary and Joseph, and it would kidnap Jesus in the manger and disappear the baby. And that's why you have his parishioners. I don't know what this guy is preaching from the pulpit, but it's one after another saying, they're taking people off the streets. ICE is just disappearing people off the streets. And what? Sending them to what? Some kind of a torture dungeon in El Salvador? Like they're just grabbing anybody off the streets? So he's portraying ICE as the heir to the Roman Empire, as essentially a modern-day Gestapo or a modern-day KGB. They'd kill the baby Jesus. They'd grab the baby Jesus, and God knows what they would do with the baby Jesus. It's incendiary. It's inflammatory. It's dangerous. It's false. That's the problem. Now, look, the larger issue is this. There's a pattern. They're going after Christmas. Like, I understand many people are saying, well, Jeff, there's other things to talk about. I'm like, really? This is one of the hottest stories in the country. That's number one. Number two, what's more fundamental now than this? Here, they've revealed their agenda now in all of its true evil demonic form. Jesus was an illegal alien. That's what they're telling us. In a way, God is an illegal. Jesus is the Son of God. So what they're saying is, no. This is the ultimate in globalism. We don't worship Jesus. We worship open borders and globalism. globalism is now the substitute for Christianity. No. You see the Son of God. We see an illegal. Jesus was an illegal. This is sick. This is sick. That's why I said, this is blasphemous, man. And again, I want to stress this. It's not one church. It's growing. It's every year. More churches. You have Lutheran churches. You have Baptist churches. You have Orthodox Christian churches in America. This guy, though, that and the church in Evanston, Illinois, that's also getting a ton of attention. That's a Baptist church where they zip-tied baby Jesus. Which, I mean, honestly, I don't know what's more offensive, this or that one. So you have baby Jesus with his hands zip-tied. And Mary and Joseph in gas masks. In other words, ICE is arresting baby Jesus. And by the way, they have Roman soldiers dressed as ICE agents. So, ICE would be arresting baby Jesus, zip-tying him, and the gas masks for Mary and Joseph because ICE is gassing anybody, the anti-ICE protesters. I mean, this thing is sick. Jesus was not an illegal. By the way, even though they had to flee for a while to Egypt, Egypt was part of the Roman Empire. They were never, quote-unquote, refugees. When King Herod says, every baby boy under the age of 2 must be killed because he wants to kill the Son of God. He's heard the Son of God has been born, right? They have to, they take Jesus and they flee for a while. But they didn't flee to another country. Egypt was a territory of the Roman Empire. Just like Judea, which is where he was born, in Bethlehem, which was part of Judea, was part of the Roman Empire. So he was never an illegal alien. That's a lie. He was never a refugee. That was a lie. I mean, I'm telling you, the communists just said Jesus never existed. Jesus was not the Son of God and will plow down every church. Gee, even the commies didn't peddle this garbage. 617-266-6868. Agree, disagree. Bruce in Woburn. Thanks for holding, Bruce, and welcome. This priest may be the ultimate, this Father Jasoma. This could be the ultimate in moonbatism, Bruce.
Well, Jeff, I'm going to tell you something. You know me, like I could pick you out of a crowd of 1,000 people. You could pick me out. We know each other. I'm Episcopalian, and I see the Episcopalian churches with the Black Lives Matter, the Rainbow Coalition flags, and all that stuff. All I know is I got a little sticker on the back of my car, Jeff, that says, "Look to heaven," with a Christmas tree. And what they're doing, what happened to the separation of church and state, Jeff? And why is this guy, he should be disrobed, disbarred, gone, like a lot of the judges in this country. But the whole thing of it is, this poor little kid they wouldn't even allow him to stay at an inn. He had to be born in a straw bed, what's the word I'm looking for?
In a barn. He was born inside a barn.
In a manger. In a manger,
yeah, inside a barn.
Now, with all these illegals, they got Ramada Inns, Holiday Inns. They got all this, and they're preaching to us about how bad Christians are. We've had all these illegals that come in here, Muslims, and we're from all over the world, and they got carte blanche, they got DoorDash, they got laundry service. Jesus didn't get nothing, but what he got was us, and God took him from us, like he did with Charlie Kirk, And these people turn my stomach, Jeff. I'm an Episcopalian, you're a Catholic, but we still know each other under God, just like it should be. And look what they did with Thanksgiving. Look at what they did with Columbus Day. Tear down this, tear down that. What we like and what we love and we believe in doesn't matter to these communists. I'm sick of this crap. Protect the police, protect ICE, protect the fire department, protect every person that's an American citizen that believes in this country, and get rid of everybody else. I don't care who they are, what they are, how maybe they work hard, maybe they don't. But if they're here illegally, why should they get better treatment than what they gave Jesus? I don't understand this, Jeff.
Oh, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. Bruce, you nailed it. Nailed it. Look, if they were, and thank you so much for that call. Look, just two very quick points. Number one, think about it. If they were to be honest and say, okay, Jesus was an illegal alien, okay, which he wasn't, but let's just play this thing out. Well, Jesus wasn't illegal. Okay. Then put him up, really, do the manger, but this time, do it at a Holiday Inn. You've got to do it at a nice 5-star hotel. And then you have to have the baby Jesus literally drowning in money. $4,000 cash. Put $4,000 cash around the manger and on Jesus. Forget the wise men with their gifts. No. 4,000 and say, that's every month. That's every month. And then put a ton of food around the manger and say all this is catered. Put the breakfast, put the lunch, put the dinners, surf and turf, steak, you name it, tuna sandwiches, eggs Benedict, just around him, okay? And then, really, and just go down and say, by the way, have doctors waiting in the background, free health care, teachers waiting in the background, free education, and you go, that's approximate what illegals get. And by the way, put a nice TV screen, say that's all paid for, cable, cell phone, that's all paid for. It's all paid for. Put suits in the background, say they even pay for the cleaning, okay, the dry cleaning. Even I'm telling you, even that gets paid. So then you know what an illegal is treated like. That's how an illegal is treated. So replace the manger or the barn with a Holiday Inn. Start with that. And then you get an approximation. Now, you're dead on. They've torn down Christopher Columbus. They've torn down George Washington. They've torn down Thomas Jefferson. They've torn down Abraham Lincoln. I mean, I could keep going. They've torn down the 4th of July. They've torn down the Constitution. They've torn down the Bill of Rights. What haven't they destroyed? But that's not good enough for them. Now, remember, Thanksgiving. Now that's a colonial conquest. They're trying to ruin Thanksgiving. So now it's Christmas. What they really want is Easter, if you want to know the truth. Okay, Christmas is the Trojan horse for Easter. Because if you're a Christian, sure, Christmas is beautiful. Please don't get me wrong. But the seminal story is Easter, that Christ resurrects from the dead. Right? And he's to save us, for ourselves, for our sins. That's the central meaning of Christianity. Now, they really want to destroy Easter. But to get to Easter, they've got to go through Christmas. And so that's what this is about. Now it's, let's tear down the birth of Christ, Christmas, Christianity. What's left? I mean, really, what's left? So that's why I'm like, no, no, that's it. We should have drawn a red line a long time ago. But here, everybody, for the globalists, they love the Munich analogy. It's always 1938. It's always Adolf Hitler. It's always Neville Chamberlain, no matter what it is, okay? So here it is. To use it in globalist neocon ideology, this is Munich. This is Munich. No, The answer is no. You're not getting the nativity scene. You're not ruining and politicizing our Christmas. No, the answer is no. 617. He was not an illegal alien, and ICE is not the heir to the Roman Empire. Maybe in your sick, demented, idiotic mind, but not in the real world. And I'm sorry, we're going to start living in reality. Augustine in Dedham. Okay, we're in the neck of the woods of St. Susanna. Thanks for holding, Augustine, and welcome.
Hello, Jeff. Good morning.
Hi, Augustine.
So 2 points. One is about St. Susanna's and one is responsive to some of the callers. My understanding of St. Susanna's back a while ago is that it was deemed to be closed at one point, and it was sort of purchased by the parishioners. So it has a pseudo-parishioner, diocesan authority branch there, and that they're kind of independent. So this may be a reason why they're not under being taking the orders as quickly as a diocesan, a true diocesan parish may. My second point is with regard to some of the, the usual Protestant fan fiction you hear around that, nobody has, we were prevented from reading the Bible and what have you. You should look around your house before you throw stones. Every Protestant church I drive by has a rainbow flag, a Black Lives Matter flag, or a trans flag out front. So I think we should be focusing on what the real enemy is and what's going on. The Catholic Church was a bulwark of the faith against the Mohammedites, back from Lepanto to the Austrian Empire. So I think we really need to look at who the enemies are here. And as I pointed out, when you look at the church, Christ himself was personally present on earth, chose 12 men. Among those 12, one betrayed him, one denied him 3 times, the others ran away, except for one.
Oh, Augustine, I'm up against it. Please, can you hang on? Okay, this is from Mark on Messenger. Jeff, he makes a great point, an excellent point. Jeff, can you imagine if someone actually went to that church in Dedham and fixed that nativity scene to what it actually should belong and remove that ICE was here sign? They would probably get arrested for theft and trespassing. Because this is the world we live in now. You're completely right. If somebody said, out of hell with this, I'm just going to grab this sign. Just take it down. To hell with it, You'd be arrested on the spot. Theft and trespassing. You'd go to jail. I mean, it's incredible. 617-266-6868. Okay, you can text the Kuhner Man, 70470. This is from 603, and this is a magnificent point. Please, you got to listen to this, because this is so true. Again, best audience in the business. Jeff, Jesus turned water to wine. So he must have been a winemaker. He multiplied the fish and the loaves of bread and fed the multitude. So I guess he must have been a restaurateur. He turned the tables over, fashioned a whip, and chased the money changers out of the temple. So I guess Jesus must have been the first member of Antifa. My point is this. If we want to twist and pervert the Gospels to suit our own agendas, we can make it say pretty much whatever we want it to. But I'll tell you this, though, Jeff. Heaven has a strict immigration policy, but hell has open borders. This is the fatal flaw of every globalist left-wing Christian. I don't care, Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox, I don't care. I don't care. Heaven has high walls and strict borders. Very few are allowed in. Now, that's just a fact. Okay? The Bible on this is crystal clear. Christian teaching is crystal clear. Common sense is crystal clear. You think God just says to everybody, come on in? You know, here it is, the pearly gates of heaven. Come on. Hey, eternal salvation. You got it. But I'm a murderer. Who cares? I'm a rapist. Who cares? I'm an adulterer. Whatever. All I did was cheat on my wife all my life. Come on in, baby. In other words, heaven has strict borders. Only a few are allowed in. Hell, on the other hand, 603 is completely right. It's full. It's full. The borders are wide open, baby. Believe me, the devil will take anybody. 617-266-6868. Agree, disagree. Bill in Waltham. Thanks for holding, Bill, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff, I'm a regular parishioner at St. Mary's in Waltham. I attended St. Mary's Saturday at 4, but then I said Sunday, I'm going to go over to Dedham at 10 a.m. to see what's going on over there. 10 a.m. is their only mass, by the way, which tells you a lot of things in terms of the volume of activity they have. It's a very small parish. So I go in. I'm there a half hour early. I walk in. I go to get some holy water. All 4 of the vessels for holy water are covered up with a piece of paper with some comment on them. And I turned to this woman who appeared to be a bit of a greeter. I said, what's up with your holy water? Because we haven't had that since March of 2020 when COVID began. I go, that's silly. So I go to the Mass. If people start coming in, it's profoundly loud and chatty, which is actually wrong in the Catholic Church. You're supposed to do that after Mass. But then the other big thing that took place, there was a baptism of a child of 2 lesbian women during Mass. Now, I'm in favor of baptism of that child, don't get me wrong, but that baptism could have been handled privately in a ceremony outside of the vision of the church members. And then there were some elements of the Mass that were just so woke you couldn't believe it. And so when I left, I wanted to go right out the front doors, which is the way I'd come in, but that's where Ted Wayman had been positioned with Channel 5 prior to the Mass. Well, they had 4 or 5 people blocking 8 doors that lead to the front. And everyone was asked to go out towards the right, which actually made more sense because that's the way where the parking lot is. So I had to go. I said, I'm going out the front door. So the guy goes, you can't go out that way. I go, get out of my way. So he moved, and I went out the front door. It didn't matter because Ted Wayman had moved to where the people were exiting the church anyway. I walked past Ted, and I said to Ted, these people need to be exposed. And then I just walked over to my car. My car wasn't that far, so he came over to me and chatted with me. I said, listen, Ted, I'm not the Pope, but what they're doing here is wrong, and they need to be admonished by the authorities, and that's it. And so it was just interesting. It was a very, very woke crowd. I'm 70 years old. I felt young there. And there were some younger people, and it was just they have an interesting feature there, though. They don't have missalettes. That's a pretty good thing. They project the words for the songs on a wall. It's actually a pretty smart idea. But the music they chose were like, we all belong, and everyone belongs here, and everyone is welcome. Blah.
Bill, fascinating. Bill, I'm up against it. Can you please hang on? Okay, let's go right back to Bill in Waltham. Sort of our on-the-ground correspondent. He went to St. Susanna's Parish in Dedham, even though his parish is St. Mary's in Waltham. But so he went to church on Saturday. Bill, I think you said, the 4 o'clock Mass, right? Or the 5 o'clock Mass?
I went to the 4 o'clock Mass on Saturday at St. Mary's. But I also go to the 8 a.m. Mass on Sunday at the Cathedral of Holy Cross. I went there.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? I have time after Mass at Cathedral of Holy Cross to drive a half hour to Dedham and make their 10 o'clock Mass. So I did that.
God bless you. Bill, God bless you. Wow. Okay. You're making me feel inadequate here, Bill.
No, don't believe me. I'm the worst Catholic. But
I just go to church once on Sunday, but let that go. Bill, it's amazing. I mean, what you described is utterly amazing. So you went to St. Susanna's. This was at 10 o'clock. They only have one Mass, which you're right, does say a lot. For example, my parish has 3. right? And many parishes have at least 2, usually 3 on a Sunday. So that says a lot. Now, honestly, the part that I'm having a hard time wrap my mind around is you walk in, there's no holy water. And there's no holy water because according to you, for the last 5 years, since the pandemic, what was it, March 2020, they've covered up the bowls with the water. And you said there's some kind of a note written on every one of the bowls. Is that it? Did I get that right, Bill?
Yes, there is a note on top covering the vessel. And I took a picture of it, and I just sent it to you by email. It says, I can't remember what it says, because I can pull it up, I guess. But nevertheless, there are 4 vessels for holy water, and they're covered up. I turned to this woman who presents herself as a very nice greeter, and I said, "What, no holy water?" Goes, "We haven't had that since COVID in March of 2020." And I said, "That's silly." And she walks away, and I said, "Why would you do that?" And I said to you, and she kept on walking away. I said, "I'm talking to you. You're going to respond?" And this man who overheard me said, "She responded to you. She said, we haven't done it since March of 2020. I said, "Why are you doing it?" "Well, it's, with germs." I go, "Oh, get over it." And then, so I went.
Bill, I've got to ask you this. So did Father Jasoma, did he preside over Mass? Bill?
Yes, he did preside over the Mass. Yeah.
Oh, he did preside over the Mass. Okay.
Yeah,
how does he, two questions, Bill. Number one, how does he strike you, just overall? The way he conducts the Mass, what he says from the pulpit, in his homily, does he strike you as a far left-wing activist in the way he speaks, the way he carries himself, his demeanor? What did you make of him? And number two, did he address the controversy? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I was waiting for that as well. And overall, he's quite compliant to a conventional Mass. Remember now, I just come from a Mass an hour and a half early. So, and I also remembered the gospel that was held at the Mass earlier at Cathedral Holy Cross. He was quite involved. What I noticed was when he stood and gave read the gospel, he stood away from a lectern, away from a pulpit, just down on a freestanding, if you will, looking towards the parishioners as if, and I believe I couldn't turn to confirm, as if it was being projected to a screen, which is a brilliant idea. And he was reading from something. He wasn't holding anything, nor was anybody holding anything for him. And I know he was reading the gospel as it was read because I just heard it an hour and a half earlier, and the day before, for that matter. And it's involved. It had some key words that are not in our lexicon these days. So, but I thought that was a brilliant idea because the parishioners don't have any missalettes there. They don't sing out of a book. That when the song comes up, they project the words onto a wall to the left of the crucifix. It's really a nice idea. But the song they choose was so weird. They open the Mass with this way, way, way too long song that has words like, "All are welcome here, we are all welcoming," blah, 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 blah. This fuzzy feel good, like, all welcoming. But, I don't mean to be unkind to these people. I think their hearts are in the right places. I think they're just overly woke. And I think I was identified as a stranger when during the Mass, if you recall, there's a portion of the Mass where they say, "Lamb of God, take away the sins of the world, grant us peace." And that's when you start to kneel. Well, after Lamb of God, take away the sins of the world, grant us peace, I go down to kneel. Everyone else is still standing. Well, I kept my ground and kept in a kneeling position.
Why don't they kneel? I don't understand that. You're supposed to kneel.
It's while the host is being consecrated, presumably, and then you get up and you do the Our Father and so on. But I'm out of sync. But my point was, there was a significant time where I was on my knees and the other parishioners were still standing, and it's the sacred part of the Mass where things are really happening up on the altar with the host.
That is bizarre. Holy mackerel, that's bizarre. Did he address the controversy at all? Did he say anything?
And he's quite articulate, and he finally got to the elephant in the room, which was the controversy. And by the way, all three of those figurines, the baby Jesus, the Virgin Mary, and Joseph, and the donkey, aka ass, are also at the foot of the altar. They're not taken away in detention somewhere. They're inside the church. So, but he basically said we're going to have a meeting after Mass with the authorities of the church and to discuss what their response will be to the archdiocese was the overarching message. I don't recall anything controversial beyond that, but I mean, I was trying to get a feel of the tone when people started to come in and fill up the church. As I got there early, I was the first one there. I kept on noticing how loud it was, with people like, "Hi, how you doing? Oh, good to see you. Huggy." And they were in conversation mode, like, normal, like, cocktail party volume. Which, I'm pretty strict with my Catholicism, but it actually got quite loud. And it wasn't, I didn't notice to my left, I couldn't see through all the people where they have their baptismal font. But there was a baptism, but I couldn't see who the parties were because of the crowd. It wasn't until towards the end of the Mass, the priest asked the party involved in the baptism to come forward, and I saw a baby who was more like a year and a half old, which is very old to be baptized. I'm not criticizing that. I'm glad the child got baptized. But it was a woman, a girl, a woman, and a man.
So, yeah, two lesbians. Two lesbians and the baby. Yeah. Unbelievable. I'm telling you, this is, Bill, phenomenal job. I mean, really, Bill, listen, I'm going to now baptize you, consecrate you as our on-the-ground religious correspondent, Bill. Absolutely phenomenal job explaining and giving all the details and telling us exactly what you saw this past weekend. Bill, please don't be a stranger. Call again, my friend. 617, and thank you. 617-266-6868. Now, apparently, I'm just going by what the father, Jasoma, has been telling the media. He says that there are a lot of illegals that go to the church. That's what he says. He says they're from Honduras, they're from Guatemala, he's even got a few from Afghanistan. So he says we have a lot of illegals in our church. And so they're a part of his community, his parish, Dedham by extension. And so he says that he's going to defend his parishioners no matter what, and that his parishioners want him to do what he's doing regarding the nativity scene. And my answer to that is very simple. Who cares what they want? I mean, they could want you to give the Eucharist to anybody. They could, they could tell you, they could want you to, I'm not kidding, throw a party. Pretty much it seems that they are throwing a party, but throw a party during Mass. Just because they want you to do something doesn't mean you should do it. You're the priest. You should know better. You should know the Gospels. You should know theology. You should know church teaching. I mean, you should know what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. I mean, hello, why did you go to the seminary? 617-266-6868. That thing it's more like a zoo than a church. I'm going to be honest with you. Like a theological, moral zoo. And no holy water? It's been 5 years? And a church, it's supposed to be somber, solemn, serious. It's the house of God. It's not a nightclub. It's not a bar. It's not a social club. It's not a, hey, Tim, Jimmy, come, let me give you a hug. I mean, it's the house of God. You're there to be respectful. You're there to worship. You're there to pray. It's supposed to be serious, solemn. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, just very quick. Lisa makes a really good point on Messenger regarding Bill and Waltham's call, where he said, I went to St. Susanna and it was more like a club than it was an actual mass. And people are hugging each other and, talking to each other and, embracing each other but they won't have holy water because apparently the germs from going all the way back to COVID, it's been 5 years. And Lisa makes the point, Jeff, funny, they're hugging and being loud and interacting with each other. Isn't that spreading germs? But no holy water for 5 years? That is just crazy. Lisa, you think? I mean, it's a lunatic asylum. That's what that church is. I'm telling you, it's a lunatic asylum. 617-266-6868. Lee in Waltham. Thanks for holding, Lee, and welcome.
Hello. It was a long wait, but worth it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, what's going on in Dedham just proves the ignorance of the left. It proves the ignorance. First of all, the Holy Family was traveling to the census. So they were going back to register as good citizens. So how does that implement the illegal thing? And let me just say that the pastor over there has already been given notice by the Archdiocese to take it down. He's not taking it down. What they should do is not defrock him. They should send him to be pastor over in Somalia or maybe Nigeria, where they're slaughtering Christians. Let him go to one of those countries and just have a look and see what's going on. That might change his liberal mind. It's just what they're doing is blasphemous anyway. And they continue to do it, which is arrogance anyway. It's unbelievable. And let me say that right now I'm making my Christmas list. There's a member of my family who is way over on the left and was outraged that they were snatching people in Boston out of the line to take their citizenship oath. And what struck me is, common sense. The president has already declared 19 countries as being those countries that we have an issue with. And we need to vet these people before they put the hand on the Bible, raise their right hand. We need them to be truly vetted, not vetted in the manner in which the past administration and administrations, plural, have vetted people. So there's a long list that they plucked out the woman who just had the baby and the guy who's a great father. And look at the big picture. And I replied to my relative, who's my goddaughter, and basically threw insults at me as I'm the ignorant one. And I'm planning to send her a gift anyway for Christmas because that's who I am. But where's the respect of the left to those of us?
No, Lee, look, they have none, and they're completely intolerant. I deal with them every day on emails, texts, you name it. They don't have the guts. Most of them don't have the guts to call the show. But the attacks, it's always personal, it's vicious, it's nasty, it's ad hominem. They never deal with the issues because they can't. And so they're completely intolerant because they know they're wrong. They can't intellectually back up their position, and you can see it. Within 30 seconds, their argument begins to collapse. But I've got to say this, Lee, and look, this is your family, and I don't want to meddle in your family's affairs. And I think it's beautiful and wonderful and frankly very Christian of you that you're going to get your goddaughter a Christmas gift, even though she's been so insulting to you. But I got to be honest, you're her godmother. and you've been nothing but good to her. To me, I would never tolerate that from my children. I don't know where the mother or the parents are with the goddaughter. I don't want to get involved. But, you know, if I found out that my Ashton or my Ava, and I don't care what the age is, were being insulting and disrespectful to their godparents over what? A political disagreement? I'd say, I'm sorry, I didn't raise you like that. Call your godmother and you apologize right now. I don't care. Dad, I'm 40, I'm 45. I don't care if you're 80 and I'm 100. I don't care. You don't disrespect your family members. You want to have a disagreement, that's fine. I've never said you got to agree with anybody. But this is your godmother who's been nothing but good to you your entire life. So show some respect. And this is what I find, this is the thing about the left, honestly, above everything else, that I find is it's toxic. It's frankly poisonous. It's poison. They put ideology above everything. And just to bring it full circle, they put ideology above religion. They put ideology above God. They put ideology above church. They're putting ideology now above Jesus, okay, above Christmas. But they put it above family. They put it above their parents. They put it above their siblings. They put it above friendship. And to them, this all seems so normal. Like, I'll just give you an example. These clowns on The View. And by the way, this is all like all these liberals are nodding their head. On The View, they're saying, no, don't go to your parents' Christmas dinner. If you don't agree with them on Trump, don't go. Or Thanksgiving. Don't go to your parents' Thanksgiving dinner. Or your sisters, or your brothers, or your uncles, or your aunts, or wherever you go to congregate to give thanks and to have Thanksgiving together. No. You disagree with Trump? Don't go. So what? You're going to break up a family? You're going to destroy a family, the harmony of a family? You're going to miss out on one of the great memories of life, to be together, whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it's Christmas, whatever it is. Because what? You hate Trump that much? Like, I'm sorry, I have to say this to the left. Are you so stupid and ignorant and one-dimensional you can't talk about anything other than your hatred for Trump? You can't talk about family, your work, the weather, sports, movies, culture, whatever, what's going on in your life, and give thanks and enjoy the meal and enjoy people's company? You're so consumed with this Trump derangement syndrome, like you can't have 2 hours at a dinner table? What, taking the knife out and saying, who supports Trump? I'll cut your jugular right now. I'll cut your throat right now. And these people are savages. They're barbarians. I'm telling you, they're intellectual barbarians, cultural, moral barbarians. So that's the thing I can't stand about the left. The one sin above all is that for them, ideology comes above people. It comes above everything. Their parents, their family, their blood, their siblings, their church, their faith, God himself. And I'm telling you, that's Marxism. That's communism. And what you're seeing now with this renegade, rogue, far-left priest, this is communism infiltrating the church. I'm telling you, that's what this is. And it's not just the Catholic Church, because I thought Augustine made a very good point. It's true. I mean, I'm not knocking Protestantism. I have tremendous respect for Protestantism, really, honestly. And there are some excellent denominations. But I've got Protestant churches all around me. It's the rainbow flag. One after another, after another, after another. So what I'm saying is, it's communism infiltrating, I don't care if it's the Orthodox Christian Church, many Protestant denominations, the Catholic Church. It's got to be stopped. It's a cancer. 617-266-6868. Agree, disagree. Maestro Mike, who would you like me to go to next? Okay, Bob in Raynham. Thanks for holding, Bob, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Bob?
Good. Hey, I'd like to go at this from a different angle, if I may. I mean, in my opinion, at least, that priest is showing his true colors. The Catholic Church is acting as an NGO, and they're getting a lot of cash, and they're aiding and abetting the invasion of our country. So they'll use this guy as as cannon fodder, and they'll slap him on the wrist, and they'll make him put the baby Jesus back, and Mary and Joseph. But behind the scenes, they're aiding and abetting the invasion of our country, not only here in the United States, but around the world, because they're all in on open borders and destroying, well, I won't say destroying the nation, but they're all in on the illegal immigration.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, this is to me the seminal sin of Pope Francis's papacy, the late Pope Francis, and it's continued now under Pope Leo. Pope Leo has gone on about how the South, the global South, meaning the third world, is a missionary activity now for the church. That according to him, we should be welcoming this unlimited third world immigration because these third world groups are apparently re-evangelizing the United States and Europe and the northern part of the globe. And I'm like, they're not re-evangelizing anything. They're going to drive us into bankruptcy. They're bankrupting the northern part of the globe. No, this is the problem. Okay. And I'm going to lay it out very clearly. The Catholic Church for decades turned a blind eye to sex abuse scandal after sex abuse scandal after sex abuse scandal. They covered it up. And finally, when you cover up something, it always ends up becoming much worse. And so it has now really financially, economically pulverized the church. Massive lawsuit after massive lawsuit. They got to make payout and settlement after payout and settlement. So the church is broke. 40 years of covering up sex abuse, and now they're broke. And it's been massive settlements. And they've drained the coffers, the treasury. And so they need an extra source of income. And what they collect from the Sunday collection plates is not enough. So hello comes Catholic Charities. And Catholic Charities has now become, now the Lutherans as well. There's others as well. It's not just Catholics. I'm not saying this as a Catholic. I'm just saying to be fair. There's also several Protestant denominations that are big into resettling third worlders and illegals. But Catholic Charities is one of the biggest in the United States and B in the world. And they're making billions of dollars. They're being paid billions of dollars to act as this ultimate NGO to resettle illegal aliens and people from the third world across the United States, across Canada, across Europe. But I'm just talking about Catholic Charities in America. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry for the church. So I've said this over and over again. You are financially and morally compromised when you speak out on the issue of illegal immigration and open borders, because you now have a deep financial vested interest. And I'm sorry, that's not the role of the church. The church has always been and should be, okay, in its past, morally independent. Period. Full stop. Instead, now you become financially dependent. Now, I'm telling you, it's gotten to the point in my parish, once in a while, for the second collection plate, they'll say, oh, the money's going to go to Catholic Charities. And then, they can't lie. So they say it goes to help the poor, it goes to help the needy, and for migrants. They throw that in at the end. They go, it goes to help the homeless, it helps the poor, it helps the needy, and of course migrants. Well, I used to give to Catholic charities. Now I'm like, no, I'm not giving you my money. I'm not going to give you my money to resettle illegal aliens. Absolutely not. Especially when the taxpayer is already paying so much. I'm not going to give you any more. So this is the problem. This is why, if you're noticing the ambivalence of the archdiocese, okay, let's just put our cards on the table. Look, I'm sorry. When the bishop tells you to take it down, it's like an order from your commander in the military. You take it down. There's no discussion. Okay? It's like in my home, when I or my wife, when I tell the kids, turn the music down, it goes down. Or if my wife says, knock it off or whatever, unset the table. Unset the table. An order has been given. Move. As I like to say in my house, move your ass. Move. So when the Archdiocese of Boston, speaking on behalf of Bishop Richard Henning in his full authority, says take it down, you take it down. It's like an order from a general. That's it. There's no discussion. It's done. Move on. Okay, it's like what it should be in a home when a mother or a father, a parent gives an order. It's an order. That's it. Move on. No. This guy is still defying him. And it's been, a couple days now. He's still defying him. The order went out. He's defying him Sunday. The order went out. He's defying him Monday. Now we're into Tuesday. Now, I'm telling you, a part of the reason is they're financially and morally conflicted. They see the massive PR disaster this has become. Believe me, Kuhner country is all over this, as is this is coming in from all over the United States. And the Archdiocese is like, we can't defend this. This idiot took the baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph out of the manger, for God's sake, and puts him in the church somewhere, and he puts an "ICE was here" sign. Is this guy on drugs? You can't defend that. It's the indefensible. From any point of view, it's indefensible. So they got to tell him, knock it off, take it down. But on the other hand, they need the money. They are giving sanctuary to illegals in that church, and they know it. And the church has been like this for, parishes all across the country and across the world. So we got to slap him on the wrist, but not slap him too hard. And we got to tell him to stop, but we can't really defrock him because this will open up a Pandora's box because there's other priests that are doing what he's doing, but just in not such a blatant, brazen way. And that's why they're paralyzed. Now, I'm sorry. I mean, this is now, it's becoming a crisis within the church. Like, I almost feel like picking up the phone, I'm serious, and saying to the bishop, Bishop Henning, with all due respect, sir, this is now your authority and the authority of the church. Like, does it mean something or does it mean, does it mean something or does it mean nothing? Does it mean anything? Like this guy, he's making a mockery of everything. He's making a mockery of the Nativity. He's making a mockery of Christmas. He's making a mockery of Jesus. He's making a mockery of the church. And just so that the church understands, you know how much this undermines morale among Catholics and among Christians? Like, what are we now talking about? This is what I said earlier. This is like telling my children at the dinner table, hey, eat with a fork and knife. What are you, savages? What, you're just going to grab rice and throw it in your mouth? Well, you're just going to grab the piece of meat and just with your hands and start chewing on it? There's a fork. There's a knife. Be civilized. We're now talking about the nativity scene? Seriously, this is what we're talking about now. The baby Jesus is now controversial? It has to be politicized? So that's it now? We're not even going to have a nativity scene? Because everybody's going to turn it into their own political football or use it for their own political agenda? I mean, Bob, I don't know what to say. Like, sometimes I ask myself, is this how the end of the Roman Empire felt? Where everything is just crumbling around you? So I'm asking them to do the bare minimum, to do the most basic of the basics. It's a nativity scene. Those are sacred objects regarding a sacred scene central to the Christian story about the birth of a beautiful baby, the Son of God, with the Virgin Mother and Joseph. The Son of God was born. Peace and goodwill to all of us. And you can't stand up for that? People say we're being distracted. Distracted from what? Okay, I'm getting a lot of reaction on this, both emails, texts, and on Messenger. How many of you, this is really sad. I hate to say this. It's heartbreaking, actually. How many of you are saying when that woman that called previously, forgive me, her name escapes me right now. I think it was Lee. I think it was Lee in Waltham. But anyway, said, my goddaughter is insulting me because I support Trump's deportation policies. And even though I'm her godmother and I've always been good to her, she's constantly insulting me, and I'm still going to give her a Christmas gift, but it's causing a rift between us or some distance between us. And many of you are saying, I have the same experience with either my daughter, my sister, my brother, my goddaughter, my godson, that Christmas is now being ruined because of politics, and in particular by liberals, by leftists who can't tolerate the fact that you voted with the majority to put Trump back in office. And they're willing now to ruin Christmas because they disagree with you politically. And so I'm just curious, is this what's happening to you? Did you have something like this regarding Thanksgiving? Are you expecting something like this for Christmas, where someone that's very near and dear to you and your family all of a sudden doesn't want to be on speaking terms, or won't be coming for Christmas dinner, or doesn't want to exchange Christmas gifts or pleasantries or whatever it may be, because they can't stand the fact that you voted for President Trump? 617-266-6868. Honestly, I think it's sad. And I think it's unacceptable. It's shameful. It really is. Okay, very quick. This is from 917. Jeff, the IRS has regulations for 501c3 charities. This is a brilliant point. Which churches are. And these regulations are unequivocally clear. 501c3 charities may not engage in any form of partisan politicking. To do so forfeits that charity's tax-exempt status, which would remove the tax deduction from anyone who donates to that charity and prevents other 501c3 charities, such as the Diocese of Boston, from giving financial support. Nothing could be more partisan politics than what St. Susanna's is doing with this manger. But the IRS is as corrupt as every swamp institution. So I would not be waiting for its action any more than I would from pretty Pam Bondi on other issues. No, but that's a very good point. Churches are tax exempt. They're considered what are called 501c3 charities, which is nice. You want to cut them a check. It's tax deductible. That's great. But there's a clear regulation and stipulation. No partisan politicking. No partisan politics. I don't know what the hell is more partisan than this. This is nakedly political. nakedly anti-Trump, nakedly anti-ICE, nakedly pro-Democrat and pro-leftist, pro-left-wing. I mean, how the hell does that? How does St. Susanna's keep its tax? It's tax deduct. You know, it's 501c3 status. How does it keep its tax deduction status? I mean, he's right, or whatever. 917 is right. Okay, this is from my sister on my personal text. My wonderful sister Jennifer, who lives in Tucson, Arizona. Jeff. No holy water since COVID, but they let in the illegal immigrants that are all unvaccinated. That's liberalism for you. That is so true. So St. Susanna's, no holy water for 5 years. The germs. Going all the way back to COVID. But according to the priest, Father Jasoma, we got illegals in our parish. Yeah, you realize they're not vaccinated, right? You get that? Hello? Hello, Father? Anything up there? Hello? 617-266-6868. Giovanni in Saugus. Thanks for holding, Giovanni, and welcome. Giovanni? I hear somebody. Do I have a Giovanni? This is Brenda in Beverly. I swear I have Giovanni in Saugus on the board. It's a glitch in the system, Mike. You know, you love to blame tech. I'm just saying, Mike, you love to blame technology. Mike, Brenda, look what I got to deal with. I'm dealing with, I got Brenda in Beverly, and instead I got Giovanni in Saugus on the board. All right, Brenda in Beverly. Go ahead, Brenda. All right, let's go right back to Giovanni in Saugus, a.k.a. Brenda in Beverly. Brenda, thanks for holding, and welcome.
And look what us callers in Kuhner country have to go through per Mike. I mean, I've been misgendered. I mean, what the hell is going on in that control booth? What the hell is happening? Jeez Louise. I kiddingly told my family in the past, and this is obviously on a different subject, and we'll get back to the serious matter, that if I ever were to do that, which will never happen, it will be an easy Brenda change. It will be Brenda to Brendan. I only have to change a consonant. But let that go, as you'd say. Let that go. All right. So on a serious note now, I do want to thank you, Jeff. I want to thank you very much for devoting the show to this subject. It's a very serious subject. And I'm going to get... I hate to use the word religious. I don't like that word, but I'm going to, as a self-professing woman of God, say some things. It might make some of us feel uncomfortable, but you know what? That Jesus was an offense. I mean, that is the crucifix. It's offensive in a beautiful way. But this is all about our souls, okay? And it's a wonderful thing in a sense that, how do I say this? St. Paul said something, I think it's in Philippians, about how as long as Christ is being preached, whether out of envy or rivalry or out of goodwill or love, it's a beautiful thing that his name is being proclaimed. So in a way, I may give him a little bit of a round of applause. I mean, I don't condone anything he's doing, but there's a lot of talk about Jesus, which that is what we're supposed to be doing about the day of Christmas, because Christmas is not about what we have created. That might be an issue for another day, and I can get in trouble with that. I'm not a Scrooge. I'm not anti-Christmas. I get the whole magic and the spirit of giving, and obviously we know from the Bible that it's more blessed to give than receive. But the holy day itself has been contaminated and corrupted, and it's gotten way out of control. It's more of a culture of commercializing Christ and cashing in on him. So it's sort of is like a progression that now we're here in a political sense where we have a priest that feels comfortable to take something as holy, All right? It is sacrilegious with a capital S. It's blasphemous with a capital B to take Jesus Christ, who he is to be professing and preaching to his flock, and to be using him and to be abusing him for political means. Christmas is not about anything other than it's a miraculous birth. You know this, Jeff. It's the miraculous birth of Jesus Christ. It's not about how this pastor or anybody else can leverage this sacred day by mocking. They're mocking the significance of the day, the miraculous birth of Christ, as well as mocking Jesus Christ himself. And we know from Scripture that God says, don't be deceived. God will not be mocked, and a man will reap what he sows. Now, that's on him. We're all going to have judgment. He's gonna have to explain this when he's in the judgment seat. Hello, taking the sacred Jesus, the Holy Family, and using it as leverage. I mean, it is obscene. It's revolting. Okay, but it doesn't surprise me that we're here. We go through this every Christmas season where there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on with the baby Jesus or other kinds of incidents that are happening. But our culture has shifted since the Industrial Revolution, where the purity and the traditionalism of this holy day, I give Jews a lot of credit. They have not contaminated their day with gnomes and fat men in red suits, and I'm not against having all that fun, but there's nothing in the Bible, Jeff, that associates Santa Claus with Jesus Christ.
Oh, you're dead on. No, you're completely right. No, Brenda, you're absolutely right. Look, this was an issue, when I was growing up, and this is like, what is it now, 50 years ago, the commercialization of Christmas, where I remember this was, like I was like 6, 7, 8 years old in the 1970s. And my parents, and my father was a very generous man. My mother was nice too, but my father would give the shirt off his back. And, he was very generous at Christmas to buy us gifts. But we were getting so many gifts that I remember my father and my mother were talking and saying, this is not really what Christmas is supposed to be about. It's not a birthday on steroids. It's not, you get 15, 20 gifts. You get 1 or 2 gifts, sure, it's nice. You eat a little bit more. It's more of a celebration. Obviously, the birth of Jesus. You have a nice Christmas dinner. You have some nice cake or whatever, a dessert afterwards, and maybe a little bit of wine. Obviously, you go to church. That's the most important thing. But they were just telling right away. They were like, it's all commercialism. It's all buy, sell. Where's the Christ in Christmas? This was in the 1970s and 80s. But now we're going to a different level. To me, that was the perversion. Don't get me wrong. But now we're going to a completely different level. Now, as I said, this is Karl Marx on the cross. That's what we're now seeing. And this priest, if no one else has the guts to say it, I'm going to say it. He's a left-wing lunatic. How this guy became a priest, I don't know. How this guy has remained a priest, I don't know. But and every year it's something with this guy. It's climate change, it's gun control, it's Jesus in a cage, it's him constantly giving out anti-Trump literature at the church. I know this for a fact because I've had parishioners tell me this. And now he's turned a nativity into a big giant anti-ICE billboard. I'm sorry, but you're rendering the church a joke. And the longer this goes on, I'm telling you, it is doing a tremendous amount of damage. Now, I'm getting people saying, we Catholics are not so weak-kneed, and, Jeff, toughen up. Listen, my faith is my rock. This clown is not going to undermine my faith. But what I'm telling you is, if you have more churches doing this and more priests doing this, we are going to continue to bleed and hemorrhage believers. Already the church has a crisis in the United States. The pews are half empty. They're already half empty. In Europe, they're more than half empty. The only place now where the church is still vibrant is in Latin America and Africa. That's it. That's it. Now, when you ask people, especially younger people, over and over, why don't you go to church? You were raised as a Christian, or raised as a Catholic in this case. How come you don't want to go to church? And the answer is, because I don't feel there's anything spiritual there. I mean, there was this amazing poll that was a survey, I think it was almost a year ago, that came out. And this is what people said. I'm not kidding. We don't want the priest to constantly make jokes from the pulpit. This is not a comedy hour. We want homilies that actually mean something, instead of this vague, vacuous, God is love and he loves everybody and he loves everything. And in other words, the church as, I don't know, the Salvation Army, or the church as the Red Cross. They go, you know, could you give us a homily, I don't know, on abortion, on marriage, on pornography, on things that are affecting us every day? We're here for our soul. And by the way, stop asking for money from the pulpit all the time. It's, yes, we have to give, take care of the poor, take care of the needy, take care of the parish. I get it. But seriously, this is not a charity, man. This is not a fundraiser for a charity. So when you listen to, and these are people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and they're like, it just doesn't feel like a God, Christ-infused church anymore. Now, by the way, that's many, even Protestant denominations. It's not unique to Catholicism. But this guy is undermining and damaging the church. There's no question. Hell, he's making a mockery of it. So, look, we can continue to go down this road. It's not going to end well. I'm telling you right now. And it's going to spread. And you're going to see more parishes and more churches and more priests do this. Or we can finally say, niet. No. No. No, absolutely not. No. The answer is no. You're taking the sign down. Period. And I'm telling you, after this, the way the Archdiocese has now bungled this, it's beyond now taking the sign down. Okay, to put an exclamation point to what I was saying just before the break, this so-called Father Josima, doesn't deserve to be a priest. I'm sorry, he doesn't. And I think he's violated his oath. I think he's violated his calling. I think he's violated his ethical, moral, theological responsibilities. And I think now the Archdiocese, it's not enough now to take the sign down. This is liberation theology. That's what this is, heresy. And this guy's got to go. 617-266-6868. Agree, disagree. Elizabeth in Waltham. Thanks for holding, Elizabeth, and welcome.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Jeff, I agree with you. I think he probably should step down. But, the thing is this is just a tip of the iceberg. The Catholic Church has a deep state. There's the synodical church they're trying to implement. They don't even know what it means. The thing is I've been to the church a couple of times. I do home care, and I had to go to a couple of funerals. And I like to receive communion on the tongue, but he told me we don't do that in this place, when I went up to him. But the thing is just pray for him. But I wonder what the deal is with that, with the church there, because I think it was closed. They wanted to close it years ago, and maybe parishioners, someone bought it for him, because it's got a nice, house next door to it, too. So, he just wants to do his theology, but he's like one of, sadly, like the Pachamama they did. There's all craziness going on, but hopefully, there's enough Catholics that know what's really going on. And if a great station, EWTN 1060 AM, Joe McLean and Father McTeague, they tell you the rundown of like what's really going on. And while there's one fellow with the Lepanto Institute that will break down all the money that's been going on. That's why these bishops with the Catholic charities, they were making loads of money. And the Catholic Relief Service, we're promoting like abortion and all kinds of other stuff that's against the Catholic Church. So there's a lot of craziness going on. So that's all. I'm sorry, but I have to go by that church today because I got to go pick up someone. And I'm familiar with it. And I just think that he probably has a good deal there. He probably can live there, and it's a nice house right next door. I don't know what the deal is with the church, but I know they were going to close that church years ago. And for some reason, it's still. I don't know if it's that big a parish either, but anyway.
Well, I mean, it can't be that big, Elizabeth. They only do, one service a week. That's what Bill told us, a previous caller. Apparently it's 10 o'clock on a Sunday. That's it. So it doesn't have that big of a congregation. Look, if they, if they want to go their own way, they can go their own way. But then you're no longer a Catholic church. You want to be a breakaway sect or a breakaway church, that's fine. I don't care. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want. But then, he'll be like a lot of the other Protestant churches. Just put a rainbow flag out front, maybe put out a nice flag of communist China or the Soviet Union hammer and sickle or whatever. But then you're no longer a Catholic church. That's fine. I don't care. But if you claim to be a Catholic church and you claim to be a Catholic priest, as he does, well, I'm sorry. My God, you're violating the fundamental teachings of the church. I mean, either the church stands for something or it doesn't. So we're going to find out. I think by the end of today, we're going to have our answer. I mean, I'd be shocked if this goes on any longer because this is now a PR nightmare for the Archdiocese. A PR nightmare. Elizabeth, thank you very much for that very thoughtful call. 617-266-6868. Mark in Milton. Thanks for holding, Mark, and welcome.
Jeff, thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure, Mark.
I'm going to ask you two rhetorical questions, and I mean no disrespect whatsoever to any practicing Catholic or other Christian sect or Jewish person, of which I am. If back in the day when you and I immigrated to this country, a sponsor had to be responsible and people could not go on public assistance, if that were the case, and these NGOs and Catholic charities had to be financially responsible for the people that they bring in, what would the stance of the church be?
Oh, you mean at the time?
No, right now. If the NGOs and churches had to be financially responsible for the people that they bring into this country, would the church be having this stance
Absolutely
of supporting
not.
the illegals?
Absolutely not. I mean, they get a lot of money to bring them in, but once they bring them in, they become wards of the state. The taxpayer takes care of them, not the church. So if they had to be on the hook for them, the answer would be no. They wouldn't touch one illegal. Hello? I mean, Mark, are you still there? Not anymore. We lost Mark. Okay, anyway, it's the end of the show. But no, Mark's point is right.